speed of response is critical, and you have to act with speed in an environment which is complex, which is ambiguous, which is unpredictable. Yeah, so that makes it a pretty difficult equation. Companies are finding it difficult to deal with it. Companies are finding it difficult to deal with it. Yeah, and it is, of course, it is the traditional large companies. They are facing a challenge, but it's not that the startups are having it easy. It is not that. I have worked in India's largest startup, and I can say that both the traditional companies and startups, they have their own set of challenges. With the traditional companies, technology is a very big challenge because you have to adapt, and you have to adapt from a business model which is going beautifully for you, and there is a disruptive technology that comes in. Initially, you ignore it, because when a new technology comes, it does not come as a big wave. It creeps up on you. Yeah? So you tend to ignore it, but then it becomes like this big demon which eats you up. So we have seen the whole Eastman Kodak and Polaroid and all these examples are very very well known. Nokia, Dell. We have seen these were very large companies which have pretty much come to nothing now. Even when we look at startups, their challenges are different. While the large companies may have a challenge around adapting to technology, really working with innovation, the startups have an issue around building blocks. The building blocks that you take for granted in a large enterprise are often not there. The leadership competence, the culture and values, which are a bedrock of any business, are often not there. So we see many startups, which go up like this shooting star, but then also fade away very quickly. Yeah. So Uber's example is well known. It is not that Uber has disappeared, but where Uber was and the challenges it has faced are quite a lesson. Even when we look closer home, the challenges that our e-commerce companies face. For example, Snapdeal, was a big, large company, and in like 6 months, it has come from here to here. Yeah. So we are in a very interesting world. Where there is no guarantee of success. Yeah. But it is not all doom and gloom. If you can get your formula right, you can win very big. You can win very big. Because everybody is struggling, if you get it right, it is a great thing. So you look at Google and Facebook, some of the statistics are really quite remarkable. So if you look at the growth in the digital advertising in the US now, 99% of that is captured between Google and Facebook. That's quite remarkable. 99% between two players. Yeah, so if you get the formula right, it's amazing. You look at Amazon, I've talked about Amazon, the way Amazon is dominating not just the retail industry. You look at the cloud infrastructure industry. The way Amazon has grown in that is absolutely breathtaking. Microsoft, a great example. It's one of my favorite examples. Microsoft was a company which had become this really staid, old-fashioned company. And comes in Satya Nadella, and he has really re-energized, rejuvenated that company, and Microsoft is on a big upswing. So the point I'm trying to make is that, look, it's a very difficult environment. There is no clear formula for success, but it's not all doom and gloom. If you get it right, then you can win very big. Yeah. So we need new rules for management in the VUCA world. What are these new rules? So there are 7 rules that I will share with you. The first rule is about innovate and shape the future. The way we typically approach business is that we look at the history. We look at the historical growth, we look at what our baseline is, and then we tend to build on top of that. That is not relevant at all in a VUCA world. That is not relevant at all. Because either your market is collapsing, so previous market size and growth rates are not relevant, or there is an opportunity for that market to grow by many X, many X. Yeah. So e-commerce industry is a very good example of that. If you look at the growth of the e-commerce industry in India, it is not like a steady line. It's not a steady line. Yeah. What you will see is that it's very spiky. So there is an innovation that gets introduced. Yeah. Cash and delivery, 30-day return, things like that, and the market shoots up. Then it stabilizes. There's another innovation, market shoots up. So the point I'm trying to make is that in this VUCA world, history counts for little. History counts for little. Markets have to be shaped. You are not a taker of the market. If you operate in a business as usual mindset and are a taker of the market, you will fail. You will fail. Yeah? But if you shape the market, if you innovate and shape the market, you can win very, very big. Yeah? So the famous Steve Jobs had said that people who are crazy enough to believe they can change the world are the ones who actually do so. That time is now. That time is now. You cannot sit on the sidelines. You cannot play with business as usual and incremental thinking. You have to approach it from a clean sheet perspective. You have to innovate. You have to think big. You have to be audacious. You have to take risks. And often that may mean that you need to cannibalize the business you already have. Yeah? If you look at successful corporations, if you look at Microsoft, Amazon, what you will see is that every 3-4 years, they are reshaping their business dramatically. You have to keep on reinventing yourself, and that would mean you have to keep on cannibalizing yourself. The second rule is around strategy. And this is a topic I love. I spent a lot of my career in strategy. And I had this realization a couple of years back when I was in Fidelity and I was sitting in this agile training. And I suddenly realized that whatever I had learned and taught about strategy was actually irrelevant. The way we have done strategy for so many years is irrelevant. Yeah. Because the world is changing so rapidly. The world is changing so rapidly that the best laid out plans, strategic plans, do not survive, connect with hard reality. Do not survive the touch, connect with hard reality. You can make a beautiful strategic plan, but that plan will be based on a set of assumptions. Yeah? And in the VUCA world, those assumptions change very, very rapidly. And therefore, those plans don't remain relevant. Worse still, they can be like a millstone around your neck. They can hold you back. Yeah? So the way organizations need to think about strategy has to be different. The era of multi-year strategic plans is gone. Yeah? It does not mean that you do not. Strategy used to be a North Star for organizations. Strategy used to guide that this is where we are going. Strategy is no more a North Star in the VUCA world. You do need to have a sense of your purpose. You do need to have clarity on your mission. You do need to have a clarity on why you are in business. Why you are in business. What needs, customer needs, are you really looking to fulfill? You do need to have clarity on your purpose because you do need to make long-term bets. But the strategy, the roadmap for how you get there cannot be, that has to be a lot more agile. That has to be a lot more light. Yeah? In this environment, what really is important is execution. In this environment, what is really important is execution. Yeah? You have to execute on a number of things. There are some things that will work, there are some things that will not work. And based on what works, you connect the dots, and that is your strategy. Yeah? I'm making a subtle point here, but it's a very important one. Yeah? So Normally, strategy is looking forward. That is how we have thought about strategy. That is how we have learned strategy. In this VUCA world, strategy is often looking backwards. It is about execution. You execute based on your execution. Some things work, some things don't work, and that tends to define your strategy. The third rule is about customers, co-creating with customers. So customer centricity, or putting customers first, is a fundamental basic rule of business and has been the first rule of business ever since business was born. In this VUCA world, in this age of digital disruption, this takes on a totally different meaning. It takes on a totally different meaning because the customer needs, the customer behaviors are changing. They have a lot more choice. They have a lot more choice. And also the need for speed. You have to work with speed. Yeah. So there are a couple of thoughts. It will take another full session to talk about what it means, what the VUCA world means from a customer centricity perspective. But I'll share two key thoughts with you. The first is that the traditional customer-provider relationships have to change. Historically, it has been two entities. There is a need, there is a provider. The provider serves this need. It has to change. Yeah? Because the environment is changing so rapidly, these needs keep on changing. Yeah? And what it means is that you have to co-create. You have to co-create with your customers. You have to break